Hey y'all, I told you guys I'd be back. Welcome back to Josh Dell'Aria's Musical Escapades. My name's Josh Dell'Aria, and I'm super excited to be back with you guys after my short little break being super busy on other things. But I'm excited to share some new music with you guys once again. So this is another one of those musicians that I found digging through all these indie music blogs that I've been digging through this year. And this is actually a London, UK, obviously based group called Firefly Burning. And I would have a hard time characterizing their genre. I would definitely say that they have folk music, but it's really different from your typical folk. They seem to use a lot of the same instruments, but I would say they use them in a very different manner, and that's what kind of makes them sound really unique. You'll hear your typical guitar and violin and bass and all that sort of stuff in their piano, whatever they decide to play in the music. But just the way they play it is so different. It's actually really fascinating. So Firefly Burning released their third career album, Breathe Shallow, back at the very end of May. And I have the title track here to that song. And I think as you guys listen to it, you guys will probably see a lot of those kind of unique, different things. And it may be a little bit difficult to adjust to, because I think I remember having a little bit of a hard time adjusting to it when I first started listening to this song. But I think as you listen to it, you can probably come to appreciate it in the way that this band just really thinks differently about the way they play their music. This is also the longest song on this album, clocking in at almost 6.5 minutes. Now, I actually really like that because I think it takes a lot of effort and some really great skill to come up with enough stuff in your song that doesn't make it sound so repetitive, but yet can fill up a lot of space. The typical song that you'd probably hear on the radio is usually about 3 to 5 minutes long. And I think one of the reasons why most musicians don't really go outside those parameters all that much is I think there's probably two main reasons. One is that they don't have enough skill to come up with enough material that they could make the song sound really good that long and not be repetitive. And the other reason I think is that musicians are afraid that you as a listener will probably still lose attention after such a long period of time. I really don't find that to be true with most of those types of songs though, and this one included as well. So I really feel like you don't really lose attention because of the length of something, you really lose attention because of the, what's the word for it? I guess intrigue of whatever it is that you're listening to. If you listen to a really great speaker, you could listen to that speaker potentially for 3 hours without losing focus. But yet, if you listen to a really bad speaker, you're probably going to nod off after about half an hour, as you can't follow whatever the speaker is trying to say to you. So I think that's the same with long songs too. Is that if you can make a song long enough to hold somebody's attention for that period of time and have enough material to hold their interest, I think that makes the song a heck of a lot better. And I think that's true in this case with this particular song. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. Again, this is Firefly Burning with Breathe Shallow.
Breathe shallow, hold your breath. I am suspended in this emptiness. Resides shake me loose. In this waiting, in this hoping, wait for me, wait for me. In this waiting, in this breaking, slowly, slowly, wait for me. Out of place, misaligned, no one to answer without a sound. You are too big, too much like the sun. It hurts my eyes now. Give me something to focus in this waiting, in this hoping, wait for me, wait for me. In this waiting, in this breaking, slowly, slowly. In this waiting, in this breaking, slowly, wait for me. Wait for me. Wait for me.
So yeah, this is definitely something different. And I'm kind of curious to know if this is your first time listening to this song. I'm curious to know what you think. So definitely make sure you put something down in the comments and tell me. Because in all honesty, I was a little bit weirded out the first time I heard this song because it sounded so different. So I'm not sure, but I feel like maybe some of you guys may have been kind of caught off guard by a song like this. Kind of like I was, but I don't know, maybe I have the wrong train of thought. So I'd love to know what you guys think. So having said that, I want to go through the song as I normally would, and point out all these little things, because for me, like, listening to the song more and more helped me kind of pick up on a lot of the little things that these guys were doing that made the song sound very different and sound really nice, sound very sweet. But it's hard to pick up, I think, sometimes from that first listen. When you're just trying to understand what the song is talking about and kind of where the song is going. So I'm going to play the intro here, and you're going to notice that the violins are just kind of chugging along, and then there's something different that happens. Yeah, that little bow right there, that little short note, it's really interesting to me because up to that point, the violins were playing super long notes and very what they call legato notes, so they're very connected together and all that sort of stuff. And then they play a little short note. And the little short note's not really what you expect right at that point in time. The other thing about it too is that it's actually bowed instead of plucked. A lot of violinists would actually probably pluck at a time like that. And I really like that they do a bow because it just, again, has a different, unique sound, and it really draws your attention in as a listener, saying something interesting's happening here. Listen. So I think that that short little note is a really, really brilliant idea that Firefly Burning put into this song. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get to the verse here, and I really want you to listen to the clarity of the vocals.
Breathe shallow. Hold your breath. I am suspended in this emptiness.
Yeah, there's pretty much not a single word that you would be unable to understand. And I think that's really good, especially for music, I should say vocals, that are very well exposed like these ones. I know there are a lot of bands that really muddle their lyrics, and then, it's kind of lame because you have to like go and look up the lyrics just to know what the song is about. And so I like that Firefly Burning can put it out there so that you don't have to worry about maybe potentially interpreting the song incorrectly. So I do like that, and I think there's also something to be said about that too, that like it's a particular skill set to be able to pronounce words correctly. And so I think that, it takes, like anything else, it takes practice. And so that tells me that they've put the effort into putting that into practice. I think that's really good. And the other cool thing that they're doing is they're actually keeping these phrases very short. Breathe shallow. Hold your breath. I am suspended in this emptiness. And that combination of short phrases and good spacing can really allow your brain to process what they're saying in a much easier manner. If somebody talks really fast and they try to shout a whole bunch of ideas at you and you really can't understand what they're saying, but you think they blah, 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 you really can't understand something like that. But if somebody spaces out their words and allows your brain an opportunity to process them, you'll have a much better understanding of exactly what they said. Now, at the end of that verse, you can hear the violin coming in a little bit, and I really love the way that it comes in. Yeah, it almost sounds like the music that I'll sometimes play when like a storybook is opened on TV or in a musical or whatever. It's really cool because it kind of sounds like it's entering you into something. Now, what's cool about this is that it's not actually all that hard to do. It's really more the idea that's being put in it that counts. And so I really think this is something smart to do because it gives this particular song, at least, an extra little element of that kind of style of play. And again, it's something that can kind of draw your attention in closer to the song. And what's cool about this too is that they actually do it again in the middle of the song, and this just sounds beautiful. Alright, I'm going to hop over to the second verse now, and I'm going to play the first half of it, and I want you guys to listen closely to the vocabulary.
Out of place, misaligned.
Yeah, some of these are just absolutely phenomenal word choices, and when you combine that with having these really concise, short phrases, it just makes the lyrics really, really powerful. To me, what that is indicating is that these guys, Firefly Burning, are coming up with the absolute best lyrics that they can come up with for this particular song. Because not only are they very powerful and deep and proper for the situation, but they also are probably the shortest song lyrics that will fit into that space. And so it really means that they're coming up with like the best words to describe the situation that they're describing. Okay, and then in the second half of this verse, they do what I think is the most difficult part of the song here, and they start kind of singing off the beat. So they don't really come in on beat 1 or beat 3, or they come in on all different beats, and it's really, really inconsistent. So getting the timing down to this is actually really, really hard. It's actually hard for me to pick it up too as a listener, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to talk out the beats as they're coming along. So I'll count out 1, 2, 3, 4 as it goes, and as you're listening to it, you'll kind of hear where they come in and where they don't. So give me 1 second here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, in particular, that "give me something to focus on" phrase is probably the most difficult one. But you can tell that there were sometimes coming in on beat 1, but a lot of the times they're coming in on 2 or 4, and that's a little bit more awkward. And so getting that timing down is actually pretty hard sometimes. So I think that's really good of them to get that down properly. Okay, last but certainly not least, I do want to talk a little bit about this ending part. So I might not play the whole thing of this, but I'll play at least some of it here.
Wait for me.
Okay, a couple things here. So number one, I really do feel like this ending should have been in the song, and I love the guitar part in this ending. However, I'm not so happy with the vocals in this ending, and I think especially the backup vocals, I think really should not have been there. I think if you were going to leave it as an opportunity for the lead singer to carry you out, you probably want as little clutter in this part as possible. I think the guitar really shines in this part, so I think putting in a whole bunch of voices in the background doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think the lead vocal, it is really nice and really beautiful, but I do kind of wonder what that outro would be without the voice in there, because I think the guitar is a heck of a lot more beautiful toward the end of that song. Um, that said, I think if they were to leave it in there, I think it probably would have been a little bit better being a little bit quieter. And I debated on this a little bit that maybe they should have brought in the vocals probably like a beat or two earlier or a beat or two later than they did. I'm not sure about that, but definitely I would have kept that a little bit more quiet. I think the ending is a really good idea, it's just not played the best that I think it could be, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. And of course, I could be wrong about that, because I'm not in the studio playing it a bunch of different ways like they probably were at that point, so they probably had the ability to figure out what would have been best for that situation, and they probably would have had the opportunity to experiment with a lot of the things that I might have suggested, and they might have listened to that in their heads and gone, no, 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 that's not what we need to do here. So I don't really know, but that was my kind of sentiment listening to this. Alright, so we have made it to verdict time. Is this song going to be nominated for the top 20? And my answer is yeah, of course. Of course it's going to get nominated. So obviously, with the way that these guys put this song together, with the really short phrases and the way that they've kind of enunciated everything and brought everything out, the way they've used their instruments, the uniqueness of the song, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I definitely think this deserves a shot at the top 20 at the end of the year. So props to you guys in Firefly Burning. You guys have made an awesome song, and the album's really awesome too. So I know you guys are watching this, so I appreciate you guys going in and doing all this work, because it really sounds awesome. Alright guys, thank you all for sticking with me to the end here. I know this was a really long review, but in all honesty, this song definitely deserves its due, so for me to make this video any shorter would really be cheating the band of a proper review. So I appreciate you guys sticking around listening. I do want to say thank you to the band. I want to say thank you to Firefly Burning for allowing me to use the artwork and the song and the video here. If you guys really like Firefly Burning, you can check out more of their music at fireflyburning.co.uk. That's a British band, so I'm just going to find them in a different style of web address. So, and of course, as I do with every musician, I'll list their social media outlets down in the description below. And in case you guys didn't realize it, the end of the year is coming up pretty soon, which means it's just about time for the top 20 of 2019 to come along. So, if you want to make sure that your favorite band is in the running for the top 20, you gotta make sure you mention them to me. And I always love listening to what you guys suggest, because it's awesome, just to be able to hear something different. And so, if you guys do know anybody who has awesome music, which would include yourself, if you listen to the channel and you make some music, definitely recommend yourself. You can send me an email here at joshdell'Ariasmusicalescapades@gmail.com. Or you can leave me a Facebook message on my Facebook page, facebook.com/JoshDmusicalescapades. Or you can leave anything in the comments below. Leave a link to the song, leave a link to the band, anything that I can use to go and find the band. And you never know, they might end up in a future episode, and they might wind up being nominated to the top 20 of 2019, y'all. And before I forget, I'm sorry that I was gone for so long too. Just my schedule just got super crazy all of a sudden a couple weeks ago. And I was going to try to put a song together for you guys in Spanish, and it's going to take me a little bit of time to get that done. But I know my schedule's still going to be pretty busy for most of the fall, so I'm going to try my hardest to get some more videos up here between now and the end of the year, which I really want to do as many of them as I can that'll get nominated for the top 20. But I don't know how much room I'm going to have to be able to do all that stuff, so but hopefully I'll be able to get another video up next week, and we'll see what goes from there. So thank you guys all for watching. Until next time, go make great music, everybody.